There is a moment, usually in the quietest part of the night, when you look at the life you've built and see only the things that have stopped growing. But before we dive deep into this message, I'd love for you to join our community by subscribing so we can walk this path together. We're sitting there, maybe with the TV on mute or staring at a phone screen that hasn't buzzed in hours, and you feel the weight of every silent room in your house. You think about your parents, your grandparents, and the stories they passed down, not just the happy memories, but the heavy ones, the secrets that were never whispered, and the patterns that seem to repeat like a record skipping on the same sad note. It feels like you've inherited a forest of winter, where every tree is skeletal and every branch is brittle enough to snap if the wind blows too hard. You wonder if this is just how it is for people like you, if the good life is something that happens to other families, while yours is destined to just survive. You look at your hands and see the same lines as your father's, the same tired expression as your mother's, and you start to believe that the dead branches on your family tree are permanent. But there is a frequency shifting in the atmosphere right now, a quiet hum beneath the soil of your history that says the winter is not a tomb, it's a womb. Think about the phone calls you dread, or the ones you stopped making because it's easier to live in the silence than to face the disappointment. We all have that one dead relationship in the family, the person we haven't spoken to in years because the bridge didn't just burn, it collapsed into the water. You carry that silence like a stone in your pocket every day. It's there when you're at the grocery store and you see a family laughing in the cereal aisle, and for a split second, you feel a sharp, cold jab of envy. You think about the holidays that felt more like a battlefield than a celebration, where everyone walked on eggshells and the air was thick with things left unsaid. You start to think that maybe the miracle everyone talks about is for people with perfect lives, not for someone who knows the exact sound of a door slamming shut in anger. But what if those very gaps, those very silences, are the exact places where the new growth is scheduled to appear? The space between the branches is where the light finally has room to shine through. And right now, that light is focused directly on the parts of your heritage you thought were beyond saving. You might be struggling with a situation right now that feels like a literal dead end. A bank account that refuses to grow, a body that feels like it's betraying you, or a career that feels like a treadmill going nowhere. You wake up at 4 a.m. and the first thought isn't, what can I achieve today, but how am I going to pay for this? The stress isn't just a feeling, it's a physical weight on your chest, a tightness in your jaw that never quite goes away. You look at your children or the people you love, and you feel this desperate, clawing need to protect them from the same struggles you've had. But you're tired. You are so tired of being the one who holds everything together with scotch tape and prayers. You feel like the strong one in the family, the one everyone leans on, but nobody ever asks who you're leaning on. You've become an expert at smiling while your heart is breaking, at saying, I'm fine, when you're actually drowning in a sea of what-ifs. There's a specific kind of pain that comes from watching someone you love make the same mistakes you made, or seeing them carry a burden you tried so hard to lift off their shoulders. It feels like a curse, doesn't it? Like there's a script written for your bloodline, and no matter how hard you try to edit the pages, the ending always stays the same. You start to doubt if faith even works for people in your zip code. You see others posting their breakthroughs on social media, the new house, the healed marriage, the promotion, and you feel like you're standing behind a glass wall, watching a party you weren't invited to. You wonder if God has a different set of rules for you, if your family tree was planted in soil that was never meant to be fertile. The doubt creeps in like a fog, making you question every decision you've ever made, making you wonder if you're the reason the branches are dying. Listen closely to the silence of your house right now. Something is happening in the hidden places. In the middle of this deep reflection, if you feel the truth of these words moving in your heart, just type a simple amen in the comments to let that energy settle. It's in the moments when we feel most abandoned that the root system is actually drawing the most power. Think about a tree in the dead of winter. It looks like a skeleton, it looks like firewood, It looks like a failure. But inside, the sap is moving. The nutrients are being pulled from the deep, dark earth, the places no one sees, the places you're ashamed of, the mistakes of your ancestors. God is taking the very debris of your past, the dead wood of your family's failures, and using it as compost for the miracle that is about to break through the bark. You're going to see a shift in the way your family talks to each other. It might start with a text message that feels different, a tone of voice that is softer than usual, or a sudden urge to forgive someone you vowed to never speak to again. This isn't just luck or time healing all wounds. This is a supernatural blooming. Those dead branches of addiction, of poverty, of bitterness, they are being infused with a life force that doesn't come from human effort. You've tried to fix it yourself for years, and it only made you more exhausted. Now you're being asked to stand still and watch the sap rise. You're going to witness a transformation in your finances that doesn't make sense on paper. You're going to see health reports that defy the initial diagnosis. It's going to feel like a dream at first, like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, because you're so used to the winter that the spring feels suspicious. The miracle isn't just for you. It's for the ones coming after you. Your children and your children's children are going to walk in a shade they didn't have to plant. They are going to eat fruit from branches that you saw as brittle and gray. You are the pivot point. You are the generation where the drought ends. Think about the fear you've carried about your future. The fear of being alone. The fear of not being enough. The fear that your life will be a footnote of struggle. That fear is a liar. It's a parasite that's been living off the dead wood. And as the life returns to the branches, that parasite has to flee. You are becoming a person of such deep, unshakable peace that people who knew you 5 years ago won't even recognize the expression on your face. They'll ask what happened, and you won't have a complex explanation. You'll just point to the tree. Imagine the moment you realize that the curse is broken. It's not a thunderclap. It's a morning where you wake up and the weight on your chest is simply gone. You go into the kitchen, you make your coffee, and you realize you aren't rehearsing an argument in your head. You aren't checking your bank app with trembling fingers. You feel a sense of belonging in your own life. This is the blooming. It's the restoration of the years the locusts have eaten. It's the dead sister calling to apologize. It's the prodigal son coming home with a changed heart. It's the business idea that finally takes root and begins to flourish. You've spent so long looking at the ground, watching for cracks, that you almost forgot to look up at the canopy. But look up now. Do you see the buds? They are small, almost invisible if you're looking with cynical eyes, but they are there. Every time you choose kindness over sarcasm, every time you choose to trust despite the evidence, you are watering those buds. You are a co-creator in this miracle. The branches that were once so dry they would snap under a bird's weight are now becoming strong, supple, and green. They are stretching toward a sun that you thought had set on your family forever. You are realizing that your pain was never meaningless. It was the pressure needed to turn carbon into diamonds. It was the pruning process that felt like a death, but was actually a preparation for a level of fruitfulness you couldn't have handled a decade ago. There is a new story being written for your last name. It's a story of abundance, of laughter that echoes through hallways once filled with shouting. It's a story of more than enough after a lifetime of just barely making it. You are going to find yourself in rooms you never thought you'd be invited into, speaking with a confidence that isn't arrogance, but a quiet knowledge that you are backed by the Creator of the universe. The dead branches aren't just getting a second chance, they are being completely reimagined. They are blooming with flowers that have a scent of grace, a beauty that stops people in their tracks. You are becoming the evidence of what God can do with a lost cause. And as this transformation continues, you'll notice that your inner thoughts are changing. That voice in your head that used to say it's too late or you've missed your window is being drowned out by a deeper, more resonant voice that says, watch what I do next. You are learning to breathe again. You are learning that you don't have to fight every battle, because the battle for your family tree has already been won in the spiritual realm. You are just here to witness the physical manifestation of that victory. You'll find yourself smiling at strangers, not because you're trying to be polite, but because there is a genuine wellspring of joy bubbling up from your gut. You are becoming a lighthouse for other families who are still in their winter, showing them that the ice eventually has to melt. Think about the legacy of anxiety that has plagued your people, the worry that was passed down like a family heirloom. You are the one who is putting that heirloom in the trash. You are replacing it with a legacy of stillness. When the storms come, and they will come, your tree won't shake like it used to. Its roots are now wrapped around the Ancient of Days. Its branches are flexible because they are filled with the sap of the Spirit. You are watching the dead parts of your own personality, the parts you hated, the parts you tried to hide, bloom into your greatest strengths. Your past mistakes are becoming the very stories that will save someone else's life. Your shame is blooming into testimony. The miracle is spreading even to the people in your family who haven't changed yet. Your transformation is creating a microclimate around your family tree. Just by you standing in your truth, just by you blooming, the temperature is rising for everyone else. They are starting to feel the thaw. They don't know why they feel more hopeful when they're around you, but they do. You are becoming the source of the miracle scent that is drawing them back to life. You aren't preaching at them, you are just living. You are just blooming. And that is the most powerful sermon you could ever give. Every day, a new leaf. Every week, a new branch. This isn't a temporary fix. It's a permanent shift in the DNA of your destiny. You are moving out of the survival phase and into the thriving phase. You are discovering talents you buried decades ago because you were told they weren't practical. You are finding a voice you thought was lost in the noise of everyone else's demands. You are realizing that you are not just a branch. You are a vital part of a grand cosmic design that is much bigger than your current struggles. The miracles are lining up like a row of dominoes, and the first one has already been tipped. You might feel a sense of awe right now, a realization that your life is actually meaningful, that your presence on this earth isn't an accident. You were chosen to be the one who sees the tree bloom. You were given the strength to endure the winter so you could appreciate the spring with a depth that someone who has always lived in the sun could never understand. Your tears have been the rain that kept the roots alive when the surface was parched. Every prayer you whispered into your pillow, every "Why God" you shouted in your car, none of it was wasted. It was all being collected, all being used to fuel this moment of spectacular, impossible growth. The branches that were once dead are now heavy with fruit, and that fruit is sweet. It's the sweetness of a restored marriage. It's the sweetness of seeing your children succeed in ways you never dreamed possible. It's the sweetness of physical energy that makes you feel 20 years younger. It's the sweetness of a mind that is no longer a prison of what-ifs. You are walking through your life now with a different stride. You aren't looking for exits, you're looking for opportunities to plant more seeds. You've realized that a blooming tree doesn't just benefit itself. It provides a home for the birds, a shade for the weary, and a beauty for the world to see. You are becoming that tree. You are becoming a sanctuary. And the best part is, the blooming hasn't even reached its peak yet. There are layers of miracles still tucked away inside the bark, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. You are in a season of suddenlies. Suddenly, the debt is canceled. Suddenly, the relationship is healed. Suddenly, the door that's been locked for 10 years swings wide open. You don't have to push. You just have to walk through. You don't have to scream. You just have to speak. You are operating from a place of rest, not a place of striving. As you look at the people around you, you start to see their trees too. You start to see the potential in their dead branches. You become a carrier of this hope. You find yourself speaking life into people who have given up on themselves. You tell them, "I know it looks dead, but just wait. I've seen what happens when the season changes. You are becoming a witness to the impossible. You are a living, breathing miracle, and every time you walk into a room, you bring the atmosphere of the blooming with you. The darkness has no choice but to retreat, because you are glowing with the light of a promise kept. The history of your family is being rewritten in real time. The chapters of pain are being followed by chapters of power. The chapters of lack are being followed by chapters of overflow. You are the author's favorite character right now, and the plot twist is so much better than you ever could have imagined. You are standing in the middle of your own answered prayers, even the ones you were too afraid to pray out loud. You are seeing the dead wood of your life become the most beautiful part of the landscape. And as the sun continues to rise on your family tree, you realize that the winter was just a shadow, and the spring is the reality that will never end. It's in the way you look at your reflection in the mirror now, where you don't just see the age or the fatigue anymore, but a flicker of someone you haven't met in a very long time. You're beginning to realize that the dead parts of your life weren't just about things you lost, but about the parts of your soul you had to put on ice just to keep moving. You remember those years where you felt like a ghost in your own home, performing the duties, making the meals, showing up to the job, but feeling absolutely nothing inside. You were protecting yourself. You had to become brittle to keep from shattering. But as these branches bloom, that protective shell is starting to itch. It's starting to feel too small for the person you are becoming. You find yourself sitting in your car after work, not wanting to go inside just yet, because you're processing this new sensation of possibility. It's terrifying, isn't it? To actually hope again? It's much safer to expect the worst, because then you're never disappointed. But God is asking you to drop that shield. He's showing you that the armor you built to survive the drought is now the very thing keeping you from feeling the rain. You think about the specific dreams you buried, the ones that feel a little embarrassing to even mention now, because people your age, or people in your situation, aren't supposed to want those things. Maybe it was a business you wanted to start, or a degree you never finished, or even just the idea of traveling to a place where the air smells different. You told yourself those dreams were dead wood, that they needed to be cleared away to make room for reality. But look at those branches again. The miracles aren't just coming for your bank account or your health. They are coming for your imagination. You are starting to have ideas in the middle of the day that make your heart race. You're noticing colors more vividly. You're hearing lyrics in songs that you've listened to 1,000 times, but suddenly they feel like they were written specifically for your current Tuesday afternoon. This is the inner blooming. This is the revival of the creative spark that your family line tried to extinguish because they were too busy surviving to ever think about thriving. Think about the way anger has traveled through your bloodline. For some, it was a loud, crashing storm, shouting, broken glass, and harsh words that left scars. For others, it was a cold, silent frost, the fine that meant anything but fine, the weeks of not speaking, the emotional distance that felt like a vast, frozen lake. You felt that coldness creeping into your own bones. You've caught yourself using the same tone of voice that used to make you flinch when you were a child. You felt that familiar heat in your chest and thought, oh no, it's happening to me too. But right now, in this very season, that cycle is being intercepted. There is a warmth melting that ice. You're finding that you have a beat now, a second of space between the feeling and the reaction. In that second, a miracle is happening. You are choosing a different ending to the story. You are speaking a word of peace where there used to be a weapon. If you feel that shift happening in your spirit, if you know that the cycle stops with you, just whisper or type Amen right where you are, and let that be your anchor. You might be dealing with the phantom limb of a struggle that is actually already over. You still check your phone, expecting that bad news. You still wait for the person who hurt you to apologize, even though they might never be capable of it. You're realizing that the miracle isn't just about the branches blooming. It's about you being able to walk away from the tree that died years ago. You've been tending to a grave, thinking it was a garden. God is redirecting your gaze. He's showing you that the new growth is happening in a direction you weren't even looking. It's that new friendship that feels like family. It's that unexpected opportunity that came through a door you thought was a wall. You're learning that your family tree isn't just about biology. It's about the people God is grafting into your life to provide the support your biological roots couldn't give you. There's a deep, quiet fear that you're going to outlive the miracle, that this is just a high point before a final devastating low. You've been conditioned by your history to wait for the catch. You think, okay, the kids are doing well and the bills are paid, so something terrible must be around the corner. That is the trauma of the winter talking. It's a lying spirit that wants to keep you from fully inhaling the scent of the flowers. You have to learn how to be okay. It sounds simple, but for someone who has spent decades in a state of high alert, okay feels dangerous. You're practicing the art of sitting on your porch and just being. You're realizing that you don't have to earn this blooming. You didn't do anything to make the spring happen. The earth just turned. In the same way, you don't have to work yourself into the ground to keep these miracles alive. They are sustained by a grace that is far more consistent than your effort. Think about the empty chairs at your table, the people who should be here to see this, but aren't. There's a specific grief in blooming when you feel like you're the only one left to see it. You feel a pang of guilt for being the one who made it out, or the one who is finally seeing the breakthrough. You wish you could go back and tell your grandfather that it was going to be all right, or hold your mother's hand and tell her she didn't have to worry so much. But the message coming to you now is that they know. The miracles blooming on your branches are the completion of the prayers they didn't even have the words to finish. You aren't just blooming for yourself. You are blooming as a tribute to everyone who stayed in the winter so you could see the sun. Your joy is their vindication. Your peace is their rest. You're going to start noticing that your physical body is responding to this spiritual thaw. The tension in your shoulders that you've carried since 2012, it's starting to loosen. The way you used to hold your breath when you walked into your workplace, you're breathing deep, all the way down to your belly. You're finding that you don't need the same crutches you used to need to get through the day. The numbing habits, the mindless scrolling, the overworking, the things we use to drown out the silence, they don't have the same pull on you anymore. The silence isn't scary now. It's full. It's pregnant with the sound of things growing. You're discovering that you actually like your own company. You're becoming your own best friend, your own most encouraging advocate. This transformation is reaching into the way you handle your mistakes. You used to beat yourself up for days over a minor slip-up, seeing it as proof that you were failing just like everyone else said you would. But now, you see a mistake as just a falling leaf, something that needs to go so something better can take its place. You're developing a holy resilience. When something goes wrong, you don't collapse. You pivot. You look at the problem and think, okay, how is this going to turn into a miracle? You've moved from, why is this happening to me, to, I wonder how God is going to use this. That shift in perspective is a miracle in itself. It's the difference between a tree that snaps in the wind and one that dances. You're looking at your children, or the young people in your life, and for the first time, you aren't looking at them through the lens of your own fears. You aren't projecting your winter onto their spring. You're letting them be who they were meant to be, without the weight of your unhealed trauma pressing down on their shoulders. You are becoming a safe harbor for them. They see the bloom on you, and it gives them permission to bloom too. You're realizing that the best gift you can give your family isn't an inheritance of money or property, but an inheritance of emotional health and spiritual authority. You are teaching them how to talk to God by the way you carry yourself through a crisis. You are teaching them what faith looks like when it's not just a word on a bumper sticker, but a heartbeat. And as the days go by, You find that you're less interested in the spectacular miracles and more in love with the quiet ones. The miracle of a full night's sleep, the miracle of a conversation that doesn't turn into a fight, the miracle of feeling a genuine thank you rise up in your throat when you look at a sunset. You're becoming a collector of these small, glowing moments. You're realizing that the dead branches were never the whole story. They were just a chapter, a long and difficult one, but the author has moved on to a new section. You're reading the pages now with a sense of wonder, turning them slowly because you don't want to miss a single detail of the restoration. You're finding that even the scars on the bark, the places where you were cut, the places where things were torn away, are beautiful now. They give the tree character. They show that you survived the frost and came out stronger. You're becoming aware of a calling that is bigger than your own comfort. People are going to start coming to you, not just for advice, but just to sit in your shade. They won't even know why they're drawn to you, but they'll feel the life radiating off you. You'll find yourself saying exactly what they need to hear, not because you're a genius, but because you're tapped into the same source that is fueling your bloom. You're becoming a distributor of miracles. You're noticing the winter in other people's eyes, and you're able to look at them with a knowing smile that says, "I've been there, and I promise you, the sap is moving." You are becoming the evidence they need to keep going. The deeper you go into this season, the more you realize that the family tree isn't just about the past, it's about the eternal. You are connected to a vine that can never die. You are part of a legacy that stretches back to the beginning of time and forward into forever. The struggles of your specific bloodline, the poverty, the heartbreaks, the addictions, they are being swallowed up by a much larger family history. You are an heir to a kingdom where there is no winter. You are learning to live from that reality, bringing the climate of heaven down into your living room, your office, and your community. You aren't just waiting for a miracle to happen to you. You are realizing that the miracle is happening through you. Every choice you make to believe is a bud breaking through the bark. Every moment of gratitude is a leaf unfolding. You are in a state of constant, beautiful expansion, and the horizon is looking more gold with every passing hour.
My child, before you go, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell icon, and comment if you believe I am guiding your life. May blessings follow you today.